Hi there, Nicola Grace, your Mission Mentor here, and welcome to this month's edition of Strategy with Spirit, where we find holistic solutions to our problems and challenges using spirit, soul, mind, body, brain, and the undefeatable laws of nature. The law of nature we're going to examine in this month's season is the law of mind. For those of you meeting me for the first time, I'm now a 3-time international best-selling author. In fact, I've written 6 books. The 6th book isn't there because it's out of print, and I didn't want to tempt you. I'm an award-winning spokeswoman and mission strategist, and I've been speaking and educating in the field of transformation and personal development for over 20 years. And I'm proud to say I'm a fabulous auntie. And before we get started, I just want to tell you that we're having a massive heat wave down under here in Australia, and so I've got a fan on, and you're probably going to hear a little bit of the whirring of it in the background, and there's just like no way I could have done this recording without that fan on because it is so hot here. So I'm just apologizing now, and if you tune into my voice in the PowerPoint presentation and tune out to the fan in the background, we should be good. It's good stuff this month too, and I don't want you to miss out on it. Because in this e-zine edition, I wanted to address a growing issue that I'm seeing for my audiences and clients. And this really came to a head at one of my last speaking engagements I did last week, when I posed the question to the audience: how many of you feel like you're not where you thought you would be at this stage of your life? And it shocked me that 100% of the people put their hands up. Yet not one of them had a plan to change that. And it's becoming this really common thing, and I've been hearing it a lot from audience members and clients in particular. I'm not where I thought I would be by this stage of my life. So despite the many books, tapes, workshops and the like on how to change your life and make it better, how to find your purpose, how to find happiness, how to get better results in life, how to reach your goals, 100% of my audience and the majority of my clients who come to me when they first start working with me experience this feeling that they're not where they should be at this stage of their life, and they're dissatisfied with that, which is why they come and see me. So it's very common. So something's obviously missing. There's some missing information that's not being given so that we can step into feeling that we're bang on track with our life purpose and we're getting the kind of results we would expect to be getting for all of the hard effort that we're putting into our work and indeed our life. So you may be sitting there relating to some of this. So this month's Strategy with Spirit e-zine is for you if you feel like you're just not getting where you thought you would be by this stage of your life. It's also for you if you know you're sort of on track, but you're not really getting the results you expected from all the hard work and effort you're putting in. And it's also for you if you know something's holding you back from getting you ahead. If you're working really hard but you're still struggling to make progress, you're also going to love this month's edition. Well, as I see it, there are 3 main reasons why you might have arrived at the place where you feel you should be experiencing something else in your life because of the hard work and effort that you've been putting in to try and create a better life for yourself. And I'll briefly go over the first 2 reasons and really focus on the 3rd one because it's the linchpin of the other 2 working for you. And that first reason that people feel like they're not on track in their life is that you're not following your soul's grand plan for your life or your mission blueprint. And it's a really blunt thing to say, but it's been my experience that when you're on track, you really do feel like you're exactly where you need to be in your life. And the mission blueprint, or your soul's grand plan for you, it's a blueprint that carries your highest and best outcomes and potentials for this life. It's a far grander plan than the one that you planned for yourself. So when we're off track to that plan, our life may or may not turn out okay. We may or may not gain happiness or success. But when we are on that mission blueprint, we are guaranteed success, provided we keep following the clues that our soul's guiding us. And in the places where we are given great choice, because we are given choice within that plan, it's not a rigid plan, it's important that we make the decisions on which choice to take from the wisest aspect of ourselves with our happiness in mind, not with pleasing others to the detriment of our own lives in mind. Now, I'm not going to go into this point particularly too much today, because I have a free training on how to find your soul's grand plan for your life, and you can get that at themissionmentor.com/7, and that's the number 7, not the letters. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, or you're on my Easing page or iTunes channel, then you'll find a link that you click to get that free training just below. The second reason that you're not getting the results that you want in life is that you're not resonating at the vibrational energy of the life you desire. Our vibration carries a magnetic attractor beam, if you like, that draws to us the very thing we think through vibration. And you're going to learn a lot more about how this works as we go through this presentation. Well, this vibration, by the way, is the secret that was left out of the movie The Secret, which is all about manifestation and the law of attraction, for those of you who are familiar with that. We need to be a vibrational match to that which we desire, otherwise we don't have sufficient energy to magnetize to us the experiences we want. But here's the third reason why you would feel that you haven't arrived at your desired destination in life, that is at the heart also of why you could be feeling off track to your soul's grand plan, and also that your vibration is not matching your desired outcome. Well, this is the secret left out of the movie The Secret and much of the law of attraction work that I read about. Well, that secret is that our brains are simply not wired to the right set of beliefs that can hold that vibration in the first place, or connect us to our soul's grand plan for our life. We could have counter beliefs preventing that wiring from sticking. So you need to have a matrix of magnetic beliefs that not only helps you hold that right vibration of that which you desire, but also that draws up from the subconscious mind that which acts as a limiter or saboteur to what your true destiny in life is. And then you need to transmute those limiters so you have new wiring in your brain. And if you want to change your life for the better, you are going to need to change your beliefs, change your vibration, change your path to get you on track to your soul's grand plan, and change the wiring in your brain. So what I wanted to do today is talk about the anatomy of the universal law of mind and how it works with our brain to bring to us the experiences we desire, the life we desire, and the results we're looking for, provided of course that we are in alignment with our soul's purpose to begin with. So when you fully understand how your mind and your brain work to magnetize to you your life experiences, it becomes easier to master your mind and also to discipline it, and therefore create better outcomes for yourself. When you know how to organize your mind that is filled with all sorts of thoughts that could mislead you in the wrong direction, and you wire your brain to the kind of results you want to create in life, well, then you have full speed ahead. I'm not only talking about creating a winning mindset here. I'm talking about integrating what we know about how the brain works to create our reality, and what we've learned about the power of our subconscious mind working together in harmony with the universal law of mind to get you those results that you want. So if any part of this equation is missing, then that could be why you're not getting the results you want in life. So stay tuned and let's begin to turn that all around today. So I'm going to start by reminding ourselves what makes up the mind. What is the anatomy of the mind that then creates the winning mindset? The brain used to be commonly thought of as our mind. It is where it was thought that we did our thinking. We have a left and a right hemisphere to the brain, and the left being our logical analytical thought center, and the right brain our creative thinking center. And there have been such amazing advances in brain science over the past decades, it's now understood that the brain is not our entire mind, and in fact, it is the interfacer of our larger mind, not the mind that thinks itself. Recent discoveries have also found that there's a tiny hole in the brain. It's in the middle of our brain and forms part of the midbrain. And this is where it is speculated that we have access to the superconscious or universal mind, because it's right behind the pineal gland. And even more recently, science has found that the heart has its own intelligence separate from the brain. That suggests we have a heart mind as well. When somebody is declared brain dead, the body is kept alive by the heart pumping and the lungs breathing. So the brain then is not the keeper of the body as was commonly understood. It's my postulation, though, I say, that probably all organs in our body have a mind of their own, and gosh, it certainly feels that way sometimes when we get sick, doesn't it? But I would not be surprised if we discover in years to come that our organs are simply interfacing with our entire mind as the brain does. So that would include all aspects of our mind, from the conscious, subconscious, superconscious or universal conscious, and the collective conscious aspects that make up our entire mind. So rather than having an actual separate mind per organ, each organ is interfacing within its own intelligence with our entire mind. Is that making sense? And this is just my postulation. It's not proven or anything just yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it will be soon. Because you see, most scientists tend to think from a perspective of Newtonian physics, that is, that everything is separate, when in fact quantum science has proven that everything is interconnected. So the intelligence we have in each of our organs might not be coming from a separate mind associated with that organ, but from the mind itself. And this mind could possibly be intelligently organizing some data to be stored in certain organs rather than others, to somehow create this holistic ecosystem that perfectly carries out our daily activities with precision, in much the same way as the intelligence of the universe rotates with precision, and the galaxies within it, it's all precision according to this universality. So we have mind then operating in every organ, because we have universal mind operating in every cell of our body at the subatomic level. So let me come at that from another angle. Our brain is made up of tiny nerve cells called neurons, and they all make up a neuronet with pathways. You can see in that picture the big glomps are like the neurons, and then the lines that go out from them are the pathways that collect from neuron to neuron, making what's called a neuron net, because it looks like a net, right? So it's now known that our thoughts are stored in those neurons, but not necessarily originating in those neurons. Some will be and some won't be. Our thoughts originate in our mind. Now, among other things, our brain's network of neurons stores beliefs and thoughts and carries thoughts along the neuron pathways, which give off electrical current, which is electromagnetic if certain circumstances apply. Now, tune in here, because this is really important. And I know for some people brain science is new, and sometimes you check out if you don't quite understand something. So I want you to bring you back in and just really focus your mind, because we really do need to understand how our brain works so that we can get better results in life, since the brain is the interfacer with the mind that makes it happen. Magnetic fields are created when electric current flows, and electric current flows through our neuron net when we have repeated thoughts. Got that? So your thoughts give off electrical current flowing through these neuron pathways around your neural net, creating a magnetic field. And what do magnetic fields do? They attract, don't they? They draw to them. And in this case, you're drawing to you what it is that you're thinking habitually. And so this is what is meant when we say our thoughts are electromagnetic. When they flow in certain directions consistently and habitually, you are creating a magnetic field that magnetizes to you that which you are predominantly thinking, not that which you think occasionally, but what is the majority of your thinking going on. And here's the kicker, it's not just the thinking that's going on in your mind that you're consciously aware of that's flowing through that neuron net, it's also the thoughts and beliefs that were stored there around about 50 generations back from our ancestors, because 50% of our brain is inherited, which is just like a phenomenal statistic. as well as what's stored in there from our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind connects us to our collective consciousness. And if we're picking up beliefs from society and believing in them, then they're also flowing through that neuron net. And that's why we can often have experiences when we go, I don't recognize this experience in my life because I'm not thinking this. I have great thoughts. I think positively. Well, sometimes you could be a little bit in denial, but other times you just simply don't know what's going on in your subconscious mind or what you've got stored in there from your ancestral belief system. So there's work to be done, and I'm going to talk about that in terms of plucking that out and transmuting it so that you've got a neuron net that's magnetic to what it is that you want to create in life. So our neuron net is storing beliefs and thoughts, and it carries thoughts through an electromagnetic current. So you've no doubt heard the saying, what you focus on increases. Well, this is how. Your habitual thoughts that you're focusing on flowing through your neural pathways in your brain are creating a magnetic field that then magnetize to you that which you are thinking. Your brain wiring is created partly by what thoughts you think. Partly, as I said, by what thoughts and beliefs are stored there from inherited ancestral beliefs, and also by the beliefs that you've accepted from society or the collective consciousness. And the good news is that you can change your brain wiring for sure. So our neuron net and the thoughts stored there form our playpen, so to speak. And how limiting your playpen is in terms of what's stored in your brain will be the limitations that you experience in life, right? So you see how you could possibly not be getting ahead, if you've got some limiters that are going on in the brain wiring. So the size of the playground we get to play in our life is determined by the wiring in the brain that creates the magnetic vibration of attraction. So whatever thoughts and beliefs that you have stored in your brain, they form the boundaries of your experiences. So the next time you feel hemmed in or stuck, going around in circles, having the same experiences over and over again, and you know what to do now. You know you've come up against the boundaries of your belief system stored within your neuron net, and you need to rewire, because you're wired to have what's happening to you. You're not wired to have what it is that you want to have happening to you. Have you got it? So how do we get out of our small playpens? Well, if you want to experience something new, you have to expand your neuron net to think new thought. So you can break up the old neural net patterns of thinking and expand beyond your current limitations. Well, that's also called creating a new mindset. A new mind set up to think the network of thoughts you need to flow and create a magnetic field to make those thoughts happen. I call that creating a matrix of magnetic beliefs. Now, the midbrain that sits behind the pineal gland is said, as mentioned before, what it is that links us to the spiritual realm of being the gland, and the pineal gland being responsible for access to higher states of consciousness. We can have access to intelligence that is in the universal mind, things we don't know yet, using our midbrain and brain. It used to be believed that the brain was finite and you can't change what is stored there. You were born with so many brain cells, and as you age they die off and eventually we die. Well, that's not true. We used to believe that though. We used to believe that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. No longer the case. You can change what's stored in your brain, and you can teach a dog new tricks because of breakthrough science called neuroplasticity. You may have heard of it. You may have even read some of the books out there on it. Fascinating stuff. Well, neuroplasticity is proving that our brain is regenerative. Not only can we teach an old dog new tricks, we can regenerate our entire body, and people are doing that. Stroke victims, heart patients, all sorts of people working with with doctors and frontier scientists in neuroplasticity are overcoming amazing physical limitations by regenerating their brain. So what have we just learned? We need to set up the network of thoughts that will lead to your desired outcomes, so you can alert your mind to make those outcomes happen for you. And how your mind does that is by creating a magnetic field from your thoughts flowing habitually through your neuron net to draw to you the people, the places, the resources and events that help you bring about those outcomes. I call that a matrix of magnetic beliefs. because one belief isn't enough. It's not enough to create magnetism. You need a flow of beliefs, a flow of ideas passing through the neuron pathways, a matrix of beliefs that are going to attract to you what it is that you're desiring. So to have a winning mindset that gets you to those milestones in life that you want to reach, and avoid that feeling of not being where you thought you would be in life, not getting the results you want, you need to have thoughts that are consistent with your desired outcomes constantly flowing through your neuron net in your brain to create magnetism that then holds the vibrational frequency needed to manifest. So that's part of it. Let's have a look at the other part of it, your mind, and how this interacts with your brain and the subconscious mind in particular. Now, since our mind is the director of creating this network of thoughts, let's explore what makes up a winning mindset from the director's chair and learn more about the anatomy of your mind. So our conscious mind is the faculty of conscious awareness. If you think right now and you can observe your thoughts, you're aware that you're thinking, right? That's your conscious mind. You're accessing those thoughts through your brain. So we can consciously change our thoughts. You do this all the time. You focus on something and then you stop midway because you don't want to think about that. So you choose to think about something else or focus on other thoughts instead. So your conscious mind is directing your focus and exercising its capacity to choose all the time. Our conscious mind allows us to think logically and creatively. It communicates to your subconscious mind and it receives communications from your subconscious mind. The conscious mind is also the faculty of imagination and visualization. It can make things up, in other words, so it's creative. Our minds are creative. The location of the mind is said to be everywhere. Now, the logistical process of our mind we are unaware of. That is to say, the modus operandi of how our mind works, we don't know. We're not aware of it working, but it's working away in the background constantly. And that's because all of those preparations of our mind are being organized in the subconscious part of our mind so that we're not going nuts with too much information going on there. And that's important to understand. The subconscious mind is both the giver and the receiver of information without discrimination of that information, and that's important to understand. The subconscious mind does not know good from bad or right from wrong. It will send messages to our conscious mind and brain only that which we can handle or ask for, because its job is to keep us safe within a comfort zone. And if you follow my blog, you know I speak quite a lot about the subconscious mind comfort zone. And if you're on YouTube, I actually have a video on getting past your subconscious mind comfort zone if you want to look that up. So the kicker here is that the subconscious mind's idea of comfort is not the same as ours because it has no faculty of discrimination. So for example, people who have prolonged periods of any unpleasant experience, like a lack of money, a lack of progress, a lack of love, etc., they're not consciously comfortable with that. In fact, they feel very uncomfortable with that. But they're accustomed to it and they're familiar with it. And the subconscious mind reads that familiarity as comfortable. So we arrive at those experiences of lack because of stored memories and ideas that we might have picked up as a child in our family, ancestral inheritance, past lives, habitual thinking, etc. And they form a comfort zone because it's known and it's familiar. Any different feeling or experience is unknown to the subconscious mind, and so it interprets that unfamiliarity as unsafe. And this is precisely why it's important to manifestation to already be vibrating at the frequency of the outcome of what you desire, so that it feels comfortable and it's known to your subconscious mind. Because it's only when it's known and it's familiar will it come into manifestation, and the brain, being the interfacer, is the habitual thinker that's going to magnetize to you the actual outcomes. Is that starting to make sense to you? Because it's complex stuff. The one last thing about the subconscious mind to know is that it connects us to the inner world and the universal mind, which brings us into direct relationship with the universal creative intelligence and forces that govern our physical reality, like the laws of nature. And I call this the genius data bank within you. So remember that quantum scientists have now discovered this universal creative intelligence running through all atoms at a subatomic level. Well, our existence comes down to atoms. We are made up of a bunch of atoms organized and individuated to make us unique. However, at the subatomic level, those atoms have a unified field or a universal creative intelligence, a genius data bank, unifying each and every one of those atoms in us, in others, and in all the energy and matter around us. And this is why I say you have a genius data bank within you. The intelligence governing the entire enchilada is within each and every cell of your body, and we can access that through our subconscious mind, as well as the midbrain pineal gland area. So that's pretty cool, I think. So I'm just going to recap before we move on. The first thing is that your brain is made up of tiny nerve cells called neurons, which have tiny pathways that reach out and connect to other neurons, making up a neuron net. As repeated thoughts flow through your neuron net, i.e. every time you have the same thought, your brain is creating a magnetic field that draws to you those things you're thinking. You also have stored thoughts in your subconscious mind, even if you're not aware of it. You can only bring into your experience the thoughts you have stored and flowing through your neuron net. If you want new experiences, you need to increase your neuron net by thinking new thoughts and releasing limiting thoughts. Your conscious mind is the director and interpreter of the thoughts. I call that the CMD, the conscious managing director of your mind and of your life experiences. Your subconscious mind also connects you to the universal consciousness and collective consciousness. You have access to that higher consciousness via your subconscious mind and midbrain. You literally have a genius data bank inside of you. Oh, I'm behind one. There we go. You have a genius data bank inside of you. So when you think the same thought over and again, you are alerting your subconscious mind and the neural net to make that which you think happen for you. That's why they say what you focus on increases. You are wiring your brain to the very thing you habitually think that creates the magnetism to go fetch. So be very careful what you think. As Napoleon Hill of Think and Grow Rich said, you can't afford the luxury of a negative thought. And now you know why. Because it's creating vibration, it's creating magnetism. So do you have a greater understanding now of the popular saying, you can achieve anything as long as you set your mind to it? You now know how to set your mind to it, so to speak. You need to think habitually the thoughts that will get you to your desired outcome. And if you're not achieving what you want in life, it's because you have not set your mind to it sufficiently. Remember, it's a matrix of magnetic beliefs that will quickly bring to you the results you're looking for when they are in alignment with your soul's grand plan for your life. And remember to go and grab that free training I've got on how to find your soul's grand plan and direction in life at themissionmentor.com/7. So I want to leave you with this final question that will empower you to begin to move beyond stuck, spinning your wheels, or dissatisfaction with where you are in life. And that is, what have you been thinking? Not just at the conscious level, but the unconscious level. What thoughts have you taken on from your collective consciousness, also stored in your subconscious mind and the neurons in your brain? What thoughts have you inherited from your ancestors, also stored in your brain, that could be holding you back from what it is that you want? These all form part of the wiring of your brain today. Not yesterday, and you're waiting results to manifest, because manifestation starts to happen instantaneously. Your brain is connected to the proper wiring and the proper vibration, the call happens that will take you a step in the right direction to what you want to change things, or somebody just crosses your pathway, or you see an advertisement, or something comes into your sphere of consciousness to move you in the direction of the new life or the desired life that you're wanting. So to change what you don't want, you need to learn how to identify and remove those unwanted limiting thoughts and upgrade your wiring to a matrix of magnetic beliefs. And again, I go into that in much more detail in the 7-day training series I've got, and you can get that at themissionmentor.com/7. Be sure to do each lesson, because a lot of people drop out before they get to this lesson, which is lesson number 5. It's just so powerful and important. You've got to keep it up, keep the momentum up, so you can really create that change and transformation that you want. So finally, I'll end with a couple of my favorite quotes on thoughts. And the first one is, "Our thoughts are things." And that was written in a play by Shakespeare called Hamlet. Here's another thought, and I love this one here. It's a real doozy. "There's no such thing as a neutral thought. All thoughts create form at some level." Wow, that's in A Course in Miracles. All thoughts create form at some level. And when it is we think those thoughts consistently, I think that's what, if you follow Esther Abraham Hicks stuff, they call that the vortex, right? It creates form at some level, that level's the vortex, but it manifests to you when the elements are right. You've got the vibration right, you've got the brain wiring right. And in some instances, it's got to be part of your soul's plan for you, because if it's not part of your plan, you're going to be pushing a lot of bricks uphill to actually get what it is that you think you want. So ponder that. And remember, if you want to move ahead in anything in your life, you can't afford the luxury of a negative thought, because your thoughts are busy creating your reality. And if you're not where you thought you would be in life, if you're struggling to get ahead, if you're feeling stuck, you cannot afford the luxury of a negative thought, because it's the law of mind that works to bring about the very things you desire in life by your habitual thinking and the magnetism that that creates. So using the principles of the universal law of mind is just another way of leveraging our time, energy and effort to get better results with less efforting. And that's why it's so grand to learn about these laws of nature and live by them. Thanks for listening all the way to the end. I'll see you next month, where we'll look at another law of nature that can help us leverage our time, energy and effort. And if you're listening to this for the first time and you're not a subscriber to Strategy with Spirit, which is the e-zine that this is coming to you from, you can head on over to strategywithspirit.com and sign up to get all past issues plus the next one. Bye for now.